This five-star wide receiver plays like he's on the hardwood. Calvin Russell's film shows rare moves that the college football world isn't ready for. Five-star wide receiver Calvin Russell is an enormous target for quarterbacks to throw to. He justifiably is one of the best receivers in this class. Ryan, what stands out to you about him?
I mean, 6'5", 195 is the first thing that pops, right? Like, you don't typically see wide receivers, especially rising seniors of like that size and that stature. Just a very unique player, Joe, because for his school, obviously he's playing out wide. He's playing in the slot at times. He's doing a lot of stuff to the middle of the field. Like the body type just overall is the first thing that pops. And obviously he's a very smooth athlete for his size as well. So you just don't see a lot of 6'5" guys, man. Like it's why the comps are always so interesting with these types of players, because there's just not a lot of big body guys to this stature, like 6'4", 6'5", playing, dominating college football and playing in the NFL, which is why Russell is just such a unique wide receiver potentially on the next level.
Of course, the cliche when we talk about these 6'5" guys is that they're a power forward. They're playing like a basketball player. Well, Calvin Russell can actually point to that and say that he has that in his bag because he's got offers to play Division I basketball at high levels. Michigan, Illinois, LSU, Arizona State, Penn State, FAU, and Tulane have reportedly offered him per 247 Sports to play basketball. Now, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's the case that he is going to consider doing this, but he is a pretty good hooper. 21 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 3.4 assists per game. With that play style for his build, really starts to create a lot of optimism for what he could become. And then also seeing former quarterback, really smooth athlete, dynamic at creating for himself after the catch. There's just an overall smoothness to him as a player that I think ultimately becomes translatable for an offense that's looking for that contested catch dominator that is hard to come by, as you said.
Well, it might be a cliche of like the power forward thing. He's probably actually a small forward. At least that's probably what he's being recruited as. But regardless, the basketball background, I think, plays to his best strengths on the football field. Like, this is a big-bodied, contested catch, boundary type dude who also has pretty good feet in short areas, right? Like, I don't think his long speed is great, but I do think that his foot quickness is relatively good because he's been a guy that has had to win off the dribble and a guy that has had to be able to make quick movements and play defense. Like, I think all that stuff does translate to the short area ability and obviously the ability to play above the rim. I mean, they obviously had the comparison to T. Higgins on the 247 site, and I think that one makes the most sense, right? Like, this is a big body kid who does some short area stuff that's a little bit uncommon. Maybe he doesn't have the greatest long speed of all time, but he wins at the catch point with his size, the ability to box guys out at the catch point. Like, he's that style of player potentially on the college level.
To dig into his background, where he stands in the 2026 class, he is the number 3 wide receiver, as I mentioned, a 5-star, number 2 player in the state of Florida, and number 21 player nationally. He also has a background in track and field, 2-time regional qualifier in the high jump. So he does it all. He is not just a great football player. He does everything outside of football.
Well, and it all comes back to the best strengths of Calvin Russell's game. You just mentioned high jump. You mentioned basketball. Like, this is a kid who is going to win because he is taller than every defensive back that he's going against, and he's able to outreach every defensive back that he's able to go against. In the air, outside of his frame, snatching the football. And I will say this, Joe, I do think the background that we talked about a little bit beforehand and during this video briefly, that he was a former quarterback, I do think does play into his favor as far as developmental upside. Because this is not a kid that has been playing wide receiver for very long. So getting better at the finer points of playing the wide receiver position on top of using that size to his advantage, I do think that offers a lot of upside for development as well moving forward.
Folks, hit that like button and subscribe, and also comment below what you think of Russell. We'll be back with more.